So my second to last periodic table feature, because I've been writing things for every element in the periodic table, and in like 15 days I'll have my last feature of periodic table poems, but I wanted to read the final poem as the poem that I'm going to read here tonight for you, because our first open micer, Joffre, was a part of it in the sampling. So this is number 105 in the periodic table, and this is Dubnium. Ready? Over the years, the US and Russia have fought over all sorts of things. Thermonuclear bombs, intercontinental ballistic missiles to carry those bombs, even getting men into space, or winning the most Olympic medals, or even making new chemical elements. You see, you may think of the Cold War when I mention the US and Russia. Oh, I'm sorry, the Soviet Union. But you should probably also think of the Transfermium Wars, where both countries spilled a lot of ink just to be in an effort to come out the winner. Because it was both Dubna in the USSR and Berkeley, California in the USA that claimed the discovery of this element. But after the Cold War, the IUPAC, oh, don't make me spell that out for you, the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, is the group that decides the name for elements, they decided that the credit for the discovery of this element should be actually shared between the two. But if the two countries no longer battled over who discovered it first, they could at least then argue over who had the naming rights for this element. The Soviets wanted to call it Niels Bohrium, for a Danish nuclear physicist, Niels Bohr. The Americans wanted to call it Hahnium, for the late German chemist Otto Hahn. So, American and Western European countries started calling this element Hahnium, while the Soviet Union and Eastern Bloc countries were calling it Niels Bohrium. So the IUPAC gave the name Un-Nil-Pentium 105 UNP as a temporary name. Though the two countries still disagreed over the naming of this new element, the IUPAC then decided on Dubnium to honor the Russian discovery location. I think the only reason that it got to be named after Dubna is because America had so many elements already named after them, like berkelium, californium, americium. And if the elements are round, element 105, like rutherfordium and seaborgium, are US, Dubnium can offset all those American discoveries. So, yeah, even after all those decades of competition and mistrust, a third party had to come in repeatedly to try to settle our squabbles, kind of like the UN. but now that we've got the name figured out for element 105, maybe we can actually learn something about Dubnium, right? So I did a little research, and lo and behold, scientists haven't been able to figure this element out either. Melting point? Unknown. Boiling point? Unknown. Density? Unknown. I guess that's what we get for battling with the Soviet Union, well, okay, later Russia, to try to create a highly radioactive metal which doesn't even occur in nature. Only a few atoms have ever been made, so I guess our creation is for research purposes only. But wait a minute. We just created a radioactive element. Should we worry if it spreads that we'll turn into a radioactive planet? I mean, will our progenitors be a radioactive species? Well, that might sound kind of cool for a comic book guy, but Dubnium is so unstable that it would decompose so quickly that it would never affect humans. And because of Dubnium's half-life of half a minute, that's short, by the way, there's no point in even worrying about its effects on the environment either. So, as I said, sorry, comic book guy, but this won't turn us into radioactive people or kill us with radiation. Maybe the United States and Russia once worked on trying to blow each other up with nuclear bombs and missiles. But when it comes to the Dubnium battles in the Transfermium Wars, maybe for once we were both working at the same time on something for science that will help us only learn. Dubnium. scary how much research I'm doing for all of this stuff, but...